Stay tuned for two of our most popular offerings on the golden age of radio theater. Hello there, Victor Ives inviting you to join us. Yes, this is the golden age of radio theater, the program that turns back the clock so we can relive the golden moments of radio's yesteryear and bring you the greatest radio shows of all time. This time, as I mentioned, two of our most popular programs, Fibber McGee and Molly. This is a 1945 Fibber show, and X-1 from 1956. First, the comedy. This is the situation. McGee wants a shampoo, but there's no hot water.
Fibber McGee and Molly. Fibber McGee and Molly. With Bill Thompson, Gail Gordon, Arthur Q. Bryan, Dick LeGrand, and me, Harlow Wilcox. A barber is usually a bald-headed man who sells hair tonic. His customers are usually men who like their hair and the conversation cut short around the ears. Like the man in the chair right now, a Mr. McGee, of Fibber McGee and Molly.
So I'm writing President Roosevelt a letter, see? And in it I'm saying to him, Dear Mr. President, look, kid, I got great ideas.
Yeah, now, look, Nick, you told me how.
Then in my own handwriting, which I am dictating to my wife because I don't write so somebody can read it, including me, I'm going on to say, look, I say, the Army is needing plenty ladies for nursing, is not?
Yeah, but...
So, also we got 1,000 guys who are too small on the eyesight for the draft, or maybe they got 7 toes on 1 foot or something. So, I'm saying, why not take the rejectees and make them into guys for giving sick people the pills?
Yeah, but if you don't mind, Nick,
Of course, so far up to now, President Roosevelt, he don't sending me the answer.
Yeah.
Which is all right. He's just as busy as me, I guess. Maybe I better send a telegram to the Manpower Commission and say, how about a shampoo?
How can you give the Manpower Commission a shampoo?
That question was not for the commission. You, I'm asking.
Huh? Oh, I need a shampoo?
Everybody's needing a shampoo at the regular periods of the interval. Are you different?
No, I guess not, Nick. Go ahead. Only after you shampoo it, put some dressing on it quick, because I got a natural part in my hair that runs from one ear across my head to the other ear, see? Looks kind of funny until it's plastered down.
Yeah, smart than I had. After shampooing, we always...
Hey, wait a minute. How much is a shampoo? 50 cents?
75.
What? 6 bits just to wash a guy's hair?
Those are the ceiling prices, kiddo. That we got posted on the wall because nobody can reach the ceiling to put them up.
Why, that's enough. Why, that's a dirty jip. 75 cents to whip up a lather on a guy's skull and rinse it off again. Why, you scissor bill. You high-handed, low-minded brush bandit. I got a good notion to report you to the OPA.
Now, wait a minute, Mr. McGee. Let's not lose our temperature just because
I won't wait a minute. Here's the 4 bits for my haircut, and you can take your shampoo and...
The haircut was 75 cents, too.
What? Another 6 bits for cutting off not enough hair to make a toupee for a tadpole? You got a lot of nerve. I'll wash my hair myself. Let me out of this chair. Why, George, any time you get me into this nest of thieves again, you'll have to threaten me more than with a razor.
Well, just put the 75 cents on the counter then, kid. Okay, Mr. McDonald, you're next. Step in the chair.
6 bits for a shampoo. That's the dirtiest way to get clean I ever heard of. So long, Dillinger. 6 bits for a shampoo. Why, I'd shampoo the dome of St. Paul's Cathedral for 6 bits. Compared with that guy, Jesse James was just a scared kid with a dry water pistol. I'll get his license. Six bits for a simple little shampoo. My gosh, I used to get my car washed for 80 cents. You must think I'm some kind of a yokel to sit still for a kind of a deal
All right, dearie, all right. Relax. You're home now, safe with Mother.
Hey, Molly, you know what that Nick the barber tried to do? That ham-handed scout gardener tried
He tried to charge you 75 cents for a shampoo.
Yeah.
And you stormed out of the shop and you're going to shampoo it yourself.
Yeah, 75 cents for a... Hey, how'd you know?
Well, the barber just called up. I lit the hot water heater right away so the water would be hot and you could shampoo your own hair.
Oh, so he called up, did he? What did he want?
He wants his apron back.
Well, he... Huh?
Here, let me unpin it for you.
Oh, my gosh.
There.
Boy, oh, boy, oh, boy. No wonder everybody looked at me so funny.
Why, you look like a flat-chested Mother Hubbard, dearie. I'll have Beulah drop this bib off at the barber shop on her way home. Now sit down and relax.
Gee, boy, am I embarrassed. Wearing that big apron all the way home.
You must have really been angry, huh?
Angry? One more word out of him and I'd have shoved his barber pole down his noisy old throat.
Oh, dear.
6 bits for a shampoo. Why, that's
I
outrageous.
don't think that's so unreasonable.
Oh.
I always pay $1.50 myself. Though it's worth it not to have to sit there and hear the patriots talk about how much revenue the government is losing by closing the racetracks.
Well, my gosh, I
Hello,
don't...
Mrs. McGee. Hello, Mr. McGee.
Hello, Alice.
Hi, Alice.
You been out in the wind, Mr. McGee? Your face is awfully red.
Well, he had a little argument with the barber, Alice. He came home hotter than a depot stove.
Well, my gosh, 6 bits for a shampoo at that barber shop. Don't you think that's ridiculous, Alice?
75 cents?
Yeah.
Oh, it certainly is, Mr. McGee. They can't make any money at those prices.
I don't know, Alice, why he doesn't wash his hair when he takes his shower anyway. Except that he's usually singing so loud he couldn't hear himself ask himself if he wanted to.
Oh, well, I never hear him. But lately I've been so busy with my charts, I don't hear anything.
What charts, Alice? You studying navigation so you can find your way home between the boys? Hey, that's not so bad. Between the boys. You see, if you spell it B-U-O-Y-S, it's a play on words.
Ain't funny, McGee.
I was kind of pleased with it myself. What charts, Alice?
Oh, my astrological charts.
Oh.
I was casting some horoscopes for some friends. I'll do yours sometime. Are you a Capricorn?
Am I a Capricorn? I'm an elk and a legionnaire, and I'm mighty proud of both.
No, I mean, what month were you born in, Mr. McGee?
Well, he was born shortly before Thanksgiving, Alice. And all white meat he was, too.
Oh, he's a Scorpio.
What do you mean I'm a Scorpio? A Scorpio is a big crab with a stinger in his stern. And if you mean that
No, McGee. Scorpio is merely the sign under which you were born.
I was not born under a sign. I was born 5 miles west of Peoria on top of Kickapoo Hill.
Oh, no, Mr. McGee. Now, look, there are 12 different signs of the zodiac, see?
Is that so?
Yes, and everybody is born under the influence of certain stars and planets, depending on what time of the year you were born.
I think McGee was born during an eclipse of the moon, Alice. He throws such a big shadow.
Oh, no fooling, Mr. McGee. It's very interesting. I've started to study astrology. For instance, your horoscope for January warns that people born under this sign must not let themselves be imposed upon financially.
Aha! You see, Molly? That barber was trying to impose on a Scorpio financially. I knew all of it. Is Scorpio a good sign, Alice?
Oh, Creeper's one of the best, Mr. McGee.
It is?
Yes, but you must do as your horoscope says if you want to be happy.
Yeah.
You must control your temper, make allowances for other people, and follow through on any projects you have started.
Like washing your hair.
Oh, is he going to wash his hair? I just washed mine. That's why I'm wearing this towel around my head.
Oh, my gosh, is that a towel? I was just about to tell you I thought that was the best-looking hat I ever saw you wear.
How long ago did you wash your hair, Alice?
Oh, I just finished. I'd have taken a bath, too, but the hot water is all gone.
What? The water I was planning to use for my shampoo? Now, just a darn minute, Alice. What's the idea?
Scorpio? Control your temper, make allowances.
Yeah, I'm sorry, Mr. McGee.
Oh, forget it, kid. That's okay. Far be it from me to stand between you and glamour. Use all the water you want. However,
What?
However, if she don't want her pretty little neck wrung, she better light that water heater before I count to 10. 1, 2, 3.
I'm going.
From January 16th, 1945, you're listening to the Fibber McGee and Molly Show on the golden age of radio theater. Now back to Jim and Mary and Jordan as Fibber McGee and Molly.
Hey, Molly, you think the water's hot enough yet so I can have a shampoo
It
for
should
myself?
be, dearie, although Alice used every drop of it, you know.
Yeah, just like a woman. With 3 of them in the house, a man hasn't got a chance.
Oh, now listen. Men are just as bad.
Huh?
When Uncle Dennis was staying here, he was always taking a shower.
Oh, I didn't begrudge him, though. The only way he ever took water was through his skin.
Well, my goodness. Oh, your water's probably hot enough now, McGee.
Okay, I'll run up and have my shampoo before... Hey, tell Beulah to see that nobody turns off the heater for a while.
I'll tell her right now. Oh, Beulah. Beulah.
Somebody bawl for Beulah?
Yeah, I'm going to shampoo my hair, Beulah.
He got a little irked at the barber, Beulah. Thought he was being overcharged, so he's going to do it himself.
Yeah, son. But them poor barbers, they sure work hard giving folks a shampoo. They just wax their fingers to the bone.
Are you inferring that I have an ossified skull, my good woman?
Oh, no, sir. But my cousin, he's a tonsorial artist, and I hear a lot about how hard he works.
Well, Mr. McGee doesn't need a tonsorial artist. He had his out in 1928.
Tonsorial refers to barbers, Molly. It's
Oh?
from the Greek, tonsolasi marabasorian, meaning the quickest way to a man's scalp is to take a shortcut.
Well, for goodness sake. You university man, Mr. McGee.
No. No, he isn't, Beulah, but he has an unusually well-rounded background, though.
Yes, I can see that.
You know what that big razorback wanted to charge me for a shampoo, Beulah? 75 cents. Imagine that. 6 bits for a gob of soap suds and a dash of Schlemiel number 5.
That don't sound like no overcharge to me, sir. Barbers give you a real good shampoo. My cousin says 4 men in one day tell him he ought to charge at least $1.
Poor customers?
No, ma'am, 4 barbers.
Yeah, that's what I thought. My barber's named Nick, and if he can't nick you with his razor, he'll nick you with the price list.
Well, personally, I think barbershop prices are very reasonable, McGee.
My cousin thinks so too, ma'am. And he's the head of his class in barber college.
Get a degree, Beulah?
Yes, a Ph.D.
Oh, for goodness sakes. Doctor of Philosophy?
No, ma'am. Oh, physiognomy is bewhiskered.
Well, this isn't getting my curly locks beautified. See that nobody turns the heater off for a while, will you, Beulah?
You want me to light it for you, sir?
Oh, it is lit, Beulah.
No, it ain't, ma'am. Excuse me.
What do you mean?
What?
Well, I see the tank was full of hot water a little while ago, folks, so I embraces the opportunity to wrench out some window curtains.
Oh.
You mean it isn't hot now, Beulah?
Right now, sir, it's as cold as a walrus's knees.
Well, light the heater again, Beulah, if Mr. McGee still wants the shampoo.
You're doggone right I still want a shampoo. Though I don't know why I need any hot water. The number of times I've been in a lather today, I ought to be as pure as a bookstore in Boston.
He ought to be as pure as a bookstore. Love that man.
This is a fine state of how do you do.
How do you do?
Fine. How are all the... Look now, this is no joking matter, Molly. Gee whiz, a man can't get enough warm water in his own house to steam a monocle. If I ever build another house, I'll build it in Hot Springs, Arkansas.
Well, the barber's probably just as perturbed as you are, McGee. He thinks you stole his apron.
Well, it takes a thief to catch a thief. I'll tell him when he can get it back. And he should live so long. Hand me the phone.
Certainly, Scorpio. Here you are, and wear it in good health.
Thanks. Hello, operator. Give me Nick's Barbershop at 14th and okay, Mert. How's yourself?
Oh, dear.
Tis, eh? What's say, Mert? Your brother. Dropped 1,500 feet out of a what?
Heavenly days, McGee. Was he killed?
No, just amused. He's a movie operator. Dropped 1,500 feet out of Gone with the Wind and nobody even noticed it. What say, Mert? Okay, I'll call later. Mine's busy.
Well, the water ought to be hot again half an hour or so, and you can get this shampoo over with, which will make me very happy indeed.
Make you happy? My gosh, I never been so exonerated in all my life. Everybody stealing my hot
You
water.
don't mean exonerated, you mean exasperated.
Go on. Exasperated is when your time is up. Like when the time limit on a contract has exasperated.
Nah, that's expiration.
I thought expiration was when a guy put on a pair of fur pants and went looking for the South Pole or something.
Oh, you're thinking of exploration.
Well, then what does exonerated mean?
Exonerated is when you have been found not guilty of something.
Well, who's been guilty of snitching all my hot water? Me? No, sir. Everybody else in the house has been the one.
Oh, hello, Mr. Wilcox.
Hello, Molly. Hiya, pal. What are you scowling at?
I'm living in a nest of water pirates, Junior. You'd think this was the Mojave Desert, the way everybody steals water.
Well, somebody explained the situation to me. I came in late.
Well, he thought 75 cents was too much to pay the barber for a shampoo, Mr. Wilcox, so he came home to do it himself, and every time he gets a tank full of hot water, somebody uses it.
Yeah, the way people glom onto it around here, you'd think it was the dew off the last rose of summer.
Hey, look, pal, you're getting very irritable lately.
Huh?
Last week you were raving and ranting because nobody trusted your hand-picked mushrooms. Now you're sourpussing around because you have to wait for a shampoo. What's the matter with you?
Well, gee whiz.
McGee, Mr. Wilcox is right. Your temper is getting as ragged as a $2 retread.
I can't help it. It's hereditary. If you think I'm nervous and irritable, you should have known my great-great-grandfather. Ooh, was he irritable?
Why?
Well, he was just impatient. Couldn't wait for letters to be delivered and answered. Couldn't wait for anything. Kept saying, why don't somebody invent the telephone? What's everybody waiting for? What's that guy Bell doing anyway? Why don't he get with it? They say Grandpa was a terror.
Well, that bad temper should have smoothed out in 3 generations, pal. What if you do have to wait a few minutes for some hot water? What's 20 minutes or less in a lifetime?
Tell him what can happen in 20 minutes or less, Mr. Wilcox.
Oh, you don't have to tell me.
Why, in 20 minutes or less, pal, linoleum dries to a perfect protective finish.
Yes.
Restores new life and luster to the faded and worn surface.
You gave him that opening, Molly. Whose side are you on, anyway?
Say, listen, sweetheart, we're all on the same side. Aren't you happy with our product?
Oh, no, not too happy. It don't spell anything backwards.
Look, pal, I was merely pointing out that 20 minutes or less can be a happy little period of time. Think of the housewife, then think how the world brightens for her.
You ever spend 20 minutes or less in a dentist's chair, Waxy?
Certainly, and well spent, too.
You were?
No, it was. But look, I didn't come in here to tell you how to improve the shining hours, pal. Nick sent me.
Who?
Nick, the barber. He said to tell you to keep that bib you walked out with.
Well, that was very kind of him, I'm sure.
Yeah, he said Fibber could keep it till spring when he comes in for his next haircut. So long now.
So he said that, did he? If he didn't give the best haircut in town, I'd never darken his hand towels again. Bye, George. Hey, you think the water's hot again, Molly?
Well, it should be, dearie. And this time I don't think anybody will cheat you out of it.
Well, they better not. The first mug, male or female, that lays a hand on a hot water faucet in this joint is going to get the...
Come in. Oh, hello, Dr. Gamble.
Hello, Molly. Hello, Mushmouth.
Hi, Doctor. Hey, you look kind of bushed. What you been doing? Treating the centipede for fallen arches?
Oh, same old routine. Get to bed at 3 a.m., phone rings at 4:15. 5:30, a new little taxpayer starts squawking as loud as a full-grown one. At 7, I'm back in bed. At 9, I'm back at the hospital trying to be patient with patients who are trying my patience.
Well, you certainly look like you could use a good night's sleep, Doctor.
I wish my father and mother had been grizzly bears so I could sleep till about April. As it is, I'm in and out of the hay like a Nebraska pitchfork.
Don't you even get time to shave?
Haven't for 2 days. Just stopped in here because my car broke down the next block. Take 'em half an hour to fix it. You know what?
What, Doctor?
I'd give my right eye, that's the one with the evil leer in it, for a hot shower and the use of McGee's no doubt dull razor. Got any hot water in the house?
Why,
Hot water?
Yeah, hot water. You know, that stuff you toss a bone in to make soup.
why, certainly, Doctor. As a matter of fact, we just heated a tank full.
Yeah, you see,
I see you are two lovely, charming people.
Mm-hmm.
And now, if you'll excuse me, I shall run upstairs and swab the frame. If you hear a rusty clatter, pay no attention. It'll be my pores opening.
Well, say it, McGee.
Yeah, and go back to vaudeville.
Well, we'll see if McGee gets any closer to that shampoo in just a moment. Once again, Jim and Marion Jordan, Fibber McGee and Molly.
I've been standing in the shower for almost half an hour. It all sends me in. Hey, McGee, you helped yourself to a couple of your clean handkerchiefs. I hope you don't mind.
Where's McGee, Molly?
Out in the kitchen, Doctor. You feel better now?
My dear, I feel so much better that with a little luck I can get through the day without folding up like a summer resort card table. Thanks for the hospitality.
Not at all, Doctor. And the man came to the door and said your card be ready in about 10 minutes.
It's a wonderful world we're living in, isn't it? As I told one of my patients who had sat on a darning needle, why worry? Everything comes out all right in the end. What's McGee doing?
Well, he's just sitting there with his shotgun across his knees.
A shotgun across his knee?
Yes.
What's the idea? Going to flush a covey of quail out of the icebox?
No, he's just making sure that, well, it's a long story, Doctor.
And if it's about your husband, I'd like to hear it. He's a fascinating little character.
Well, it started in the barber shop. The barber was going to charge him 75 cents for a shampoo, and McGee thought it was too much.
He would. McGee thinks no more of a quarter than I do of my third cervical vertebra.
Yeah, and he came home to give himself a shampoo. But Alice used all the hot water, and he waited and heated some more, and then Bewley used all the hot water, and he heated some more, and...
I get it.
You got it.
Well, my epidermis is more important than his scalp, if only because there's more of it. But what's this about the shotgun?
Well, after you took your bath, he lighted the heater again. Now he's sitting there guarding it with his shotgun. He says anybody who steals this batch of hot water is going to be so full of lead, you could use them to write a letter to your Aunt Minnie.
Well, I haven't got an Aunt Minnie, but my sister Gertrude would be happy to get a postcard. Tell McGee I'm very sorry that... No, I'll tell him myself. Well, where's the kitchen? Through this door?
No, please don't.
What's the matter?
That's the hall closet.
Oh, I see what you mean.
Yeah, sure.
Will you excuse me while I smoke a hot water pipe of peace with your bitter hat?
Well, I'll do better than that, Doctor. I'll come with you. Right this way. You know, it really has been exasperating for him, Doctor. And you know how he is when he sets his mind on doing something.
I do indeed. He follows through like a broken garter. Shall we knock?
They do.
Who is it?
Your best friend and severest critic. Or, reading from left to right, your wife and your physician.
Okay, come in. Oh, hi, Doc. Feel better?
Infinitely. I'm sorry I used your hot water, my boy. In extenuation, I can only plead my ignorance of the situation.
I told him how many times you'd lost the hot water, dearie.
No, that's okay, Doc. But believe me, I'm making sure of this tank full. Anybody lays a hand on this water is going to wind up as full of holes as a German treaty. Is the car fixed yet?
Well, it will be any minute. I just dropped back here to say goodbye and thank you for a delightful dunk.
Well, I'll go out with you and see you get started all right, Doc. I don't think anybody will swipe this water now. I've warned them enough.
McGee, now please be careful with that gun.
Okay. I'll just set it down here in the corner.
Oh, heavenly days, McGee, look what you did.
What a neat third act curtain, my boy.
Oh.
You blew a hole right through the hot water tank.
Why, this is impossible. The gun wasn't even loaded.
My, your hair certainly looks nice since you had your shampoo, McGee.
Yeah, it sure does, doesn't it?
And we're sorry we had to make you keep your barber shop open after hours, Mr. Nick.
Forget it, sweet sis. I couldn't lock the door till I got out of here anyway. Good night.
Good night.
Good night, all.
This is the golden age of radio theater. Next on our nostalgic agenda, X-1. This story written by Fritz Leiber.
Countdown for blast off. X-5, 4, 3, 2, X-1, fire. From the far horizons of the unknown come transcribed tales of new dimensions in time and space. These are stories of the future, adventures in which you'll live in a million, could be years, on 1,000 maybe worlds. The National Broadcasting Company presents X-1. Tonight, Appointment in Tomorrow by Fritz Leiber.
angry rays of the sun, which surprisingly enough still rose in the east at 24-hour intervals, pierced the lacy tops of Atlantic combers and touched thousands of sleeping Americans with unconscious fear because of the unpleasant similarity to the ray from World War III's thermonuclear weapons. This was America approaching the end of the 20th century. America of the mask fad for women and the Neo-Cretan dress styles. America of your local radiation hospital, of the endless war and the loyalty detector. In his bedroom in the Thinkers Foundation, George Helmut slept.
Calculus to the nucleus, adding a quantum equal to the resultant of G sub 1 prime. Repeating, the quantum...
His educational sandman purred learnedly in his ear, droning tensor calculus through the night, filling the hours that used to hold man's formless fears and floating anxieties with the rigid form and anchored shapes of mathematics. Precisely at 8, the sidereal alarm went off.
Head. Oh, shower. 96.8, commence.
Under the soothing spray of the body temperature robo-shower, Helmut took a deep breath and cast his mind to the limits of the world and his knowledge. It was a somewhat shadowy vision, but he noted with impartial approval, definitely less shadowy than yesterday morning.
Off. Dry blast, commence.
Employing a rapid mental scanning technique, he cleared his memory chains of false associations, including those acquired while asleep.
Off. Clothing. Color key 705.
He stepped into his clothing, the severe tunic, tights, and stockings of the modern businessman. He smiled. The next big move had come to him in his sleep, as many of his best decisions did, because he utilized the time-saving technique of somno thought, which could function at the same time as somno learning.
Attention, robo-locator. Category, rocket physicist. Classification, genius level. Time limit for search, 20 minutes. Commence. Take dictation. Dear fellow scientists, a project is contemplated that will have a crucial bearing on man's future in deep space. Ample non-military government funds are available. There was a time when professional men scoffed at the Thinkers Foundation. Then there was a time when the thinkers perforce neglected the professional men. Now both times are past. I would like to consult you this afternoon, 3 o'clock sharp, Thinkers Foundation, signed George Helmut. End of dictation.
The president is waiting to see Maisie, sir. He has the general staff with him.
March and peace to him. Tell him I'll be down in a few minutes.
Huge as a primitive nuclear reactor, Maisie, the great electronic brain, loomed over the knot of hushed-voiced men. Its front was an orderly expanse of controls, indicators, telltales, and terminals, the upper ones reached by a chair on a boom. This was the machine with 1,000,000 times as many synapses as the human brain, the machine that remembered by cutting delicate little notches on the rims of molecules. This was the machine that timid cyberneticists and stuffy professional scientists had said could not be built. Yet this was the machine that the thinkers, with characteristic Yankee push, had built and named, with characteristic irreverence, Maisie.
Have you the questions for the day, Mr. President?
Here, Mr. Helmut.
I see.
The question on the Pakistan crisis is a little touchy. I don't know.
If there is enough data to answer it, Maisie will do so.
Well, of course, I didn't mean to. Of
If
course.
you will excuse me, gentlemen, I will code the questions for Maisie. Oh, Section 5, Question 4. Whom would that come from?
Number 4, it says physics. Opperly and his research team.
I see. Thank you, Mr. President. While I'm coding the tape, there will be time to watch the takeoff of the Mars rocket.
Beautiful, beautiful. Oh, I've often wanted to go to New Mexico. As a matter of fact, I've always wanted to go right through To Mars?
Mr. President.
My chief of staff thinks the project should be under the Army instead of the Thinkers Foundation.
Mr. President, this is the way Maisie designed the project.
Oh, I know. That's what I told him. Still, I wish you people could bring back a few of those wise little devils from Mars. It would be a good thing for the the country.
It's quite unthinkable. The telepathic abilities of the Martians make them extremely sensitive. The conflicts of ordinary Earth minds would impinge on them psychotically. Only the thinkers can contact them because of the clear training and errorless memory chains. Perhaps someday, in the future... there goes the rocket.
Beautiful, beautiful.
I am ready to submit the question tapes to Maisie. Stand back, gentlemen.
Oh, well, sorry.
And now... All right, gentlemen. Maisie is thinking.
The question tape, like a New Year's streamer tossed out of a high window into the night, sped on its dark way along spinning rollers. Curling with an intricate aimlessness, it tantalized the silver fingers of 1,000 relays, saucily evaded the glances of 10,000 electric eyes, impishly darted down a narrow black alleyway of memory banks, and, reaching the center of the cube, suddenly emerged into a small room where a sweating fat man in shorts sat drinking beer.
Here it comes. Get off my lap, honey. I've got work to do.
Can it wait?
I said get.
Oh, you didn't have to do that.
When Maisie thinks, she thinks. Open up another beer.
Look, I'm not a robo-barmaid.
Honey, do what you're told, or I'll ship you out where they'll work some of the upholstery off that frame, slopping radioactive mud.
You don't have to get nasty, Jan. Here's your beer.
That's better.
It makes you fat.
I like to be fat. It makes our relationship more poignant. Pass me the questions and get over to your keyboard.
You're a greasy pig.
But such an attractive pig. Start taping. Why, that dirty...
What's the matter?
One of the questions. Does Maisie stand for male Zell?
For what?
Male Zell.
Does it?
Look, you just keep sitting on your brains and let me do the thinking. Tape. Maisie does not stand for male Zell. Maisie stands for amazing, humorously given the form of a girl's name.
Who is Maelzel?
Edgar Allan Poe.
Huh?
It's a story. Maelzel's chess player. About an automaton that was supposed to play chess. Poe proved it had a man inside it.
Oh, and they want to know if Maisie... They're wrong. Maisie doesn't have a man inside it. Just a lump of conceited lard. You could hit me with that. Look at my dress.
Get me another glass of beer. That must have come from the physics section of the Research Institute. Opperly and that 8 Farquhar. We'll look into that. All right, start taping. Question 1. The midterm election vidcast should be spaced as follows.
Morton Opperly's living room was quite behind the times. Instead of reading tapes, there were books. And instead of a 4x6 TV screen, there was a Picasso, still faintly radioactive from being smuggled out of the Manhattan crater. 2 physicists faced each other across the table. Old Mr. Opperly and young Mr. Farquhar.
About that male Zell question, Willard. Why do you keep teasing the zoo animals?
Because the thinkers are charlatans who must be exposed. We know their Maisie is no more than a tea leaf reading fake. We've traced their Mars rockets, and we know they go into orbit 500 miles above Earth and stay there until it's time to come down with the latest miraculous Martian mental science.
But we've already exposed the thinkers very thoroughly. You know the good it did.
If you men who discovered atomic energy had only formed a secret league, if you'd only had the guts and foresight to use your tremendous bargaining power to...
Willard, we scientists weren't the stuff of which cloak and dagger men are made. Can you imagine Oppenheimer wearing a mask, or old Einstein sneaking into the White House with a bomb in his briefcase? That's not the way power is seized. New ideas aren't useful to men bargaining for power. Only established facts or lies are.
What do you want to do? Surrender the world to charlatans without a struggle? The thinkers are vulnerable. Their power is based on a series of lies.
All power is. The greater the lie, the greater the power.
What's it based on? A few lucky guesses, some faith healing, some science hocus pocus.
The power of the thinkers isn't based on what they've got, but on what the world hasn't got. Peace, honor, a good conscience.
They've sent for me.
Who? Jan Tregerin?
No. George Helmut. I got the radiogram an hour ago. They know they'll have to produce a real nuclear rocket pretty soon, and they'll need our help.
I'm afraid, Willard.
You think it might be a trap? After the Maelzel question, you think they might want to shut me up?
I'm not afraid for your life. I'm worried about other things they might do to you.
They'd better be worried about the things I'm going to do to them.
We'll return to X-1, appointment in tomorrow, in just a moment. And now back to X-1 from November 7th, 1956.
March and peace to you, Willard Farquhar. You have entered the Thinkers Foundation. Please remain on the slideway.
I want to see George Helmut.
May we take your hat and coat?
What the...
Do not be alarmed. Invisible radiations are slaughtering all the germs in your body, while more delicate emanations are producing a benign rearrangement of your emotions.
Claptrap. I can recognize a 14-cycle sonic note when I hear one. Where's Helmut?
This way, please.
Helmut, cut out all this swarmy stuff. Where are you?
I'm afraid Mr. Helmut won't be able to meet you, Mr. Farquhar. I'm Jan Tregerin. Perhaps you can have your conversation with me.
George Helmut waited in the conference room with 24 empty chairs. He had prepared by 2 hours' rest with the Somno teacher on full volume for this conference, having strengthened his mind by hard years of Somno learning, memory straightening, and sensory training. He had assured himself of the executive power to control the technicians and direct their specialized abilities. Together, they would have built the true Mars rocket. But, unfortunately, no one came.
Where are they? Report.
No word from the door, Master.
They can't all be late. Did you check?
The calls have been put through.
What response?
Dr. Burnside reports he received the second message just in time.
What second message?
The message calling off the meeting.
Did he read the text of the second message back?
Shall I play it back?
Never mind. How was it signed? The signature?
Signature, Mr. Jan Tregerin.
George Helmut dejectedly examined his organizational charts, and then tapping his stylo on the pad, he extended his mental aura, cleared his memory chains of error, accelerated his cerebral processes by the Haber-Gerson process he'd practiced for so many years. Slowly, he could feel the tight, heart-squeezing disappointments ebb. He was in control again. Tregerin, he was the one to blame. Tregerin, who was so used to working by deception that he must be shown the light.
Well, Willard, how was your adventure among the magicians?
Well, they didn't hurt me.
You're sure? And are you as determined as ever to smash and expose the thinkers?
Of course. Only from now on I won't embarrass you by asking any Maelzel questions. After this, I shall bore from within.
Now, where have I heard that phrase before? Do I understand that you are becoming a thinker, Willard?
Certainly. That's the only way to smash them. Out-trick all their trickeries. Organize a fifth column. Then strike.
The end justifying the means, of course.
Of course.
I wonder if becoming a thinker doesn't simply mean that you've decided to use lies and tricks as your chief method. Well, you're working with Helmut?
Not Helmut. Tregerin. I'm afraid that Helmut's career as a thinker is going to have quite a setback.
Ah, well.
Goodbye, Willard.
Tigeron, I want to talk to you.
Shall I leave?
No, please stay.
Jan?
Stay. You ought to enjoy this. George has that errorless memory channel.
Tigeron, you know why I'm here.
I don't know. I've been sadly remiss on my precognition and clairvoyance exercise. I've been too busy with other things, other people, other exercises. But I don't need Maisie to guess.
You just went ahead and canceled the conference without consulting me.
You called it without consulting me. Shouldn't do that sort of a thing, George.
I was absolutely sure of my ground, perfectly prepared. I visualized it. The rocket boosting up on chemical power, then setting sail.
Sail? Sail? A nuclear reactor rocket. Oh, George, you're fabulous.
Yes, sail. Thin streams of nuclear reflecting material and the rocket feeding meson streams behind it. I conceived it all, complete, except for technical details.
George, you are a thinker. A real thinker.
I know.
Now, look here, George. Every man should stick to his trade. Technology isn't ours.
You know as well as I do that we're going to have a nuclear spaceship and actually go to Mars someday.
Are we?
Yes. Just as we're going to have to build an actual Maisie. I helped you organize the thinkers. At least I was your first partner. Our basic idea was that the time had come to apply science to the life of man on a large scale. The only thing holding the world back from this was the ignorance and superstition of the average man and the stubbornness and lack of enterprise of the academic scientists. Their worship of facts, even when the facts were clearly dangerous.
Splendid. Splendid. Caddy, get me another beer.
I'm filing my nails. All right, all right.
Everybody wanted the new world. The trips to Mars, the knowledge of the human brain. All they lacked was the nerve to take the first big step. And that was what we supplied.
Here's your beer.
It was no time for slow and careful plodding. We couldn't afford to check and double-check. We couldn't wait for the grudging approval of the professionals. We had to use fake stunts, tricks, anything to get over the big point. Once that was done, mankind was headed down the new road. It was easy to just heal the breach with the professionals and to make good in actuality what had been made good in pretense.
Very good. The beer.
We built Maisie. We built the Mars rocket. We discovered the wisdom of the Martians. We sold the people and the science the professionals had been too high-toned to advertise or bring into the marketplace. But now that we'd succeeded, it's time to let accomplishment catch up with imagination, to implement fantasy with fact. You suppose I would have gone in with you if I hadn't known that someday we'd actually make what we claimed we had already made?
Oh, is that it?
John, the day's come, and I'm the man. I've prepared myself.
Caddy, clear the decks.
All right. I know. You just want room to point that fat finger.
I wanted to stay.
All right. George, look, every revolutionary wants to see the big change take place in his lifetime. But time for the second step. George, the average man's exactly where he was 10 years ago when we took over. Except he's got a new god. More than ever, he thinks of Mars as a Hollywood paradise with wise men and yummy princesses, like Caddy here.
You think I'm yummy, really?
Shut up. Maisie is Mama, magnified 1,000,000 times. The professional scientists, they're more jealous and stuffy than ever. All they like to do is turn the clock back to a genteel dream world of square caps and quadrangles.
Bravo!
I said shut up. George, maybe in 10,000 years we'll be ready for the second big step. Meanwhile, the clever will rule the stupid. The realists will rule the dreamers. George, did you actually think you could have bossed those professionals? Nuclear scientists? Rocket physicists? Oh, now listen to me, boy. They'd have torn you to pieces in 20 minutes, and glad of the chance. George, you baffle me. You know that Maisie and the Mars trips and all that are fakes, yet you believe in your somno learning and consciousness expansion and optimism pumping like a corn-fed yokel.
There is a place for the man who has the courage to dream.
Sure. In a straitjacket. Oh, George, you remind me of those men who used to put out those lurid little magazines with Caddy's grandmother on the cover in outer space in a stripped-down bathing suit.
My grandmother never...
I said shut up! That's what it is. Frustrated little men playing science god to generations of pimply high school chemistry students and gas station attendants, conning them into thinking they're in the know, sprinkling a few formulas to the garbage and playing Atom Smasher, and then being very solemn about the role of imagination in science. George, the trouble with you is they forgot to take your zap gun and space cadet decoder pin away from you when you turned 13.
That's your honest opinion?
It's more than that. George, get a hold of yourself and quit taking fantasy in the veins. That's an order.
Jan, the strange part of it is that I know as well as you do that Maisie and the Mars trips are fakes, but some things aren't. The human mind, Jan, is a tool that hasn't been perfected yet. There are more things in heaven and earth that are dreamed of in your philosophy, Horatio.
Who's Horatio?
I said shut up. This is the last full cackle, George. You've been fooling around with ESP, huh? Telepathy? Maybe a little hypnotism?
Maybe.
All right. Guess what I've got in my drawer? Extend your consciousness. Telepath it. Visualize it. Never mind. I'll play you the mental effort. It's a pistol, see? Now, let me tell you something. I got a couple of boys waiting outside. They'll take you by jet to New Mexico. George, congratulations. You're leaving for Mars tomorrow.
Mars?
Yes. I've decided Mars will be the best place for you. We'll arrange it so that your trip is, say, 2 years long. Perhaps in that time, orbiting up there, you'll learn a little Martian wisdom. For example, the big liar must never fall for his own lie. Meanwhile, I got a replacement for you. His name is Willard Farquhar.
But I sent for him to...
Yes. You see, I, too, believe in cooperation with the scientists. But by subversion. I'll offer them the hand of friendship with a big, fat bribe in it. You know what the bribe is? The power to destroy me. That's what I'm offering. Join us. Learn our secrets. Bore from within. Bide your time before you strike. But while he's biding, I'll have him. And when he's ready to strike, you'll find it's not quite the time. Wait a little bit. Enjoy the power. Play with fat old Jan Tragerin like a cat. And by then I'll have him.
You can't replace me, Jan.
Oh, you were a good man, George. When we needed catchy slogans, ray guns, plastic helmets, fancy sweaters.
I warned you, Jan. Don't underestimate the mind. The human brain. Even Caddy here is a fascinating instrument. For example, I had a little talk with Caddy last week.
Very boring.
Ah, but useful. But when we were finished, her mind had something it didn't have before.
You always were educational, George.
Caddy, look at me.
Hmm?
Look at me. Look at me. Now, put your hand on his arm.
Mm-hmm.
Now, take his gun.
Caddy, are you crazy?
I've got his gun. What now?
You see, Jan, there is a place for the dreamer, the man who believes, who can use his mind. I'm going to get rid of you, Jan, because the man who dares to dream will rule. Caddy, look at me. Look at me. Point the gun at him. Look at me.
I can't anymore. It's too ridiculous. Jan, take your silly gun back. It's too heavy.
What? Caddy, I command you, look at me. Look at me.
The power of the mind. Hey, boys, come in and get him.
I don't understand. Caddy, look at me.
Oh, all right, I'll look at you. Poor Superman.
And that was X-1 from November 7th, 1956. In just a moment, we'll answer a letter from New Orleans, Louisiana, about Cary Grant. Along with a few kind comments about our program, a listener from Louisiana wants to know, was Cary Grant ever on a radio series? Yes. Cary, the dimpled one, took his movie character, Mr. Blandings, to radio in 1951. His real-life wife, Betsy Drake, co-starred with him. Unfortunately, the critics hated the show, and it didn't last very long. Even the talents of Gail Gordon and Sheldon Leonard failed to spice it up enough to make it successful. Well, I'm afraid we're out of time for this golden age of radio theater. Victor Ives speaking, thanking you for being with us, and inviting you to join us again next time. We turn back the clock to relive those golden moments of radio's yesteryear and bring you the greatest radio shows of all time.
For a copy of today's program, call 1-800-326-0296 and refer to show number 23. That number again is 1-800-326-0296. And remember to refer to show number 23.